Hello and welcome to the live stream, everybody. My name is JT and you're watching Blackbox Trading. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the price of Bitcoin. A lot of people, understandably, are quite afraid of the most recent price action. But I got to tell you, I personally am extremely bullish on this. I know you've heard me say I'm bullish before, but nothing's really changed. We haven't left the trading range. We've been in a consolidation. The volatility of the consolidation is increasing, but my bias is not shifting. We're still looking really good, in my opinion. And with this most recent dump, it has a large effect on how the order books are stacked up. And I would not be surprised at all if we head to much higher levels from here. So let's get into the TA. Oops, where is my TA? Let's get this. There we are. There's my TA. All right. So this volume spike. Okay. Now, to a lot of people, volume is relatively insignificant, or it's something that is not easily understood. What I can tell you is volume means a lot in the market. It shuffles up the order book. So here's what happens with order books. And let me just go ahead and show you, for those who are unfamiliar, let's pull up the order book. If I can do it quickly. Let's see if I can log in real quick here. Maybe I don't need to log in. Let's go over here. And let's pull this up. There we go. So for those who don't know, this is the order book. This is the order book. The closest order for the sell side is right here at 55.075 or 050. And the closest on the bid side is 55.040. And the price in the middle is the last price paid. A lot of people think that when people buy Bitcoin, it means that the price goes up, and it's not true. I mean, it is true, but that's not how price works. Market cap is not a reflection of the amount of money that went into an asset. Market cap is a representation of the price divided by the supply. Times the supply. And the order books can become stagnant. And what that means is, you get a large amount of volume coming into the market. You get a large amount of excitement coming into the market. Where does the excitement come from? It comes from a price rally. And as a result of that excitement, you shuffle things up in the books. You get more people selling. You get a lot of supply hitting the market. And then you get people coming in and buying tops with smaller balances. Smart money versus dumb money dynamics. So what happened here in this last point that we had a high volume event is it kind of marked the top of this consolidation, and we've been digesting that price since then. When the market is in digestion, it takes time for the order book to settle. And that's where you get kind of boring price action or a boring order book, a stagnant order book. Okay. Now, let me know if this makes sense. Comment below if any of this needs further clarification. But when the order book becomes stagnant, the supply and demand doesn't really go anywhere. Everybody's just kind of in wait and see mode. You've got the whales just waiting to see if the price goes down to lower levels. You've got retail waiting to see if the price is going to pump, and it becomes stagnant. But when you get a move, whether it's up or down, when you get a move and you get a large amount of volume, you get liquidations, You get people bailing on positions or FOMOing into positions, and you get a whole bunch of new orders. You restack the book. It's called a book because it's a book of everybody's requests. I want to buy here. I want to sell here. The book is a list of requests. And when it's stagnant, there's not a lot of new requests. And when there's a high liquidity event, a whole bunch of new orders hit the book. And that kind of reveals to the market, is demand higher than supply, or is supply higher than demand? And that's the most important thing about price. When demand is higher than supply, you get an increase in price. When supply is higher than demand, you get a decrease in price. But the price doesn't actually move until the order book starts to trade and hits those orders, and the price is adjusted. So what we're looking at is this liquidity event. The book just got restacked. So now the next piece of that puzzle is, how did it get stacked? How did the order book, how did all of the influx of new orders affect the book? And in my opinion, based on the fact that this came in at a support level, I'm going to draw the conclusion that it's going to have higher demand than supply, which will take time to see a price result, but that price result will be an increase in price, in my opinion. Now, the last time we saw kind of a move like this, let's actually go over to the weekly chart. We got 4 days and this candle's a little wonky. This top, half of this red body should actually be down here. So this candle currently is a little wonky. TradingView has been wonky on the weekly chart for a while now. Usually it fixes itself after day 3, but apparently it's not. It hasn't quite corrected yet. But anyways, the last time we had a large demand tail on a weekly candle was back here. Back here. That's what we want to see, ideally. That's ideally what we want to see. This is kind of, it's called a dragonfly doji, or a shooting star doji. But it's characterized by a small body. So a small body and a large wick below. And what this represents is that there was a large liquidity event and the bulls showed up and they bought the price back up. So it's a pretty bullish candle. Currently, it doesn't look like that. But again, we're actually cutting things off here. So this is the actual body of the candle. You got to ignore the top. But we got 4 days left, and I think that the books just got stacked bullish. So we'll see how this thing closes. If it closes out of this channel, my bias needs to correct. If we fall outside of the channel. But there's just nothing to me that indicates that this bull market is over. And we're going to do a little bit of on-chain analysis to kind of confirm what the Bitcoin holders are doing. But before we get into that, scan the QR code and sign up for Blackbox. We're going to talk about the Blackbox signals that have been occurring recently. If you've been in the group, you've seen a lot of prep signals, but you haven't seen any execution signals. We're going to dive into why that is and why Blackbox does such a good job of preserving your capital. It's one of the better risk management bots out there as far as a scalping bot. And it's doing its job perfectly. It's doing its job absolutely perfectly. So if you guys want more information, follow the links down below, but you can also scan the QR code at the bottom of my webcam there, and that'll get you into the Discord where we can field any questions. So let's talk about the on-chain analytics. And we're going to look at basically what are the Bitcoiners doing? What are the Bitcoiners doing? What are we seeing with the wallet addresses? We just had a huge dump, right? So that huge dump must mean that that Bitcoiners are selling. So this is the addresses with non-zero balances. And you can see as a result of this, it's not the same. There is a little turn down. I would say that these wallet addresses are not convicted Bitcoiners. They have just non-zero balances. So anything below 0.01 would be considered, would be in this cohort. And there is a small amount of selling, but these are not convicted Bitcoiners. When we go to 0.01, which is 1 million sats, we can see that it begins to turn up. So the price was heading down. That's the black line. And the addresses holding Bitcoin has gone up. So people were buying. Anybody who has more than 1 million Satoshis was adding to their wallets. Now we can go to 10 million sats, 0.0 or 0.1 BTC. We can see the decline in the price, and we are upticking in the balances on addresses. So anybody that has 0.1 BTC, there are now more addresses that hold that. So we have people continuing to buy Bitcoin. Now we go to anybody who has a whole coin, the whole coiners, all right? And again, relatively flat with a slight increase in the amount of wallets that hold over a Bitcoin. Now we go to 10 Bitcoin. This is where things begin to get interesting. These are the convicted Bitcoiners. These are the guys that have been around for multiple cycles. They're the ones that you should be paying attention to because this is your diamond hands. You know, if you want to talk about diamond hands, these are the diamond-handed individuals, this and above. And huge increase. They bought the shit out of this dip. So there are more wallet addresses with more than 10 Bitcoin as a result of this dip. That's heavy accumulation. Now we can go to balances that hold 100, and they bought the shit out of this dip. The people who have 100 Bitcoin or more are your highly convicted individuals. And they are buying hard. 1,000 Bitcoin. Again, a little bit of an increase. This is where things begin to taper off a little bit because how much of the market is actually in a position of holding thousands of Bitcoin? Not many, but we can still see that there's an increase. The other thing to take into consideration once you get to this size is this is counting UTXOs, so individual wallet addresses. Your wallet will have thousands of addresses, and you should only use one address for every transaction for privacy purposes. Not everybody does that, but that's what's recommended. So even when you get to 1,000, you know, if you're a person that holds thousands of Bitcoin, I highly doubt that you keep 1,000 plus Bitcoin on one address. You probably have numerous addresses that hold a handful of coins in each address. And an address is different from a wallet. If you guys want more information on wallets and addresses, let me know. And we do have a ton of that info in the Discord. So check it out there. But yeah, you know, if you're like myself, I'm not going to tell you how much Bitcoin I have. But what I will tell you is that none of my addresses hold more than 10 Bitcoin. None of my addresses hold more than 10 Bitcoin. So, and that still leads you to not know anything about me. So it's a privacy thing. Then we get into the balances of 10,000 Bitcoin. This is where you see the decline. Now, for me, the 10,000 plus Bitcoin, this is going to be kind of your government seizures. This is going to be your hackers. This is going to be, it's a very small cohort of individuals who are holding 10,000 plus Bitcoin. We just saw Germany offloading thousands of Bitcoin. We saw Mt. Gox doing the distribution of thousands of Bitcoin. So when you keep that in mind, this kind of makes sense. This kind of makes sense that, you know, these very, very large wallet addresses are going to be reducing from 10,000 per address to smaller denominations per address. So, you know, to summarize, the Bitcoiners are buying heavy. So yes, we had a price move down, but so much of that supply that hit the market because of noobs selling just got eaten up, got completely eaten up. So it's a good thing in my opinion. And we're going to see how that stacks up on the books. Again, I'm bullish. So we'll continue to move with that bias. Let's go down to some smaller time frames. We took a look at the daily. Let's take a look at the 4-hour. So short-term price action. What I'm looking for is a retest of this channel. So I would like to see us come down to the bottom of the channel for a retest. It looks like it wants to do that. This move is actually kind of weak, to be honest with you. Given the velocity of this move here, I was expecting us to come and at least test somewhere around the middle of the channel. There's confluence with the 128 moving average and the middle of the channel, but pretty weak. So, you know, it's probably just indicating to the market that, you know, people are scared, which isn't surprising. So I'm going to say, you know, maybe we get a retest, something like this, where we can go below as well. We can test below. And what we'll end up getting is a higher low, where I believe we will get also a lower high in the RSI. Actually, no, we're not going to get that. We're not going to get a lower low, sorry, on the RSI, because the RSI got super oversold. So I would be looking at something like this, maybe a test, and then maybe we go below. So get a bullish divergence, maybe an equal low or a lower low on price, which gives us that bullish divergence. So watch out for that on the 4-hour. But yeah, we're probably going to come down for a little bit of a liquidity grab, a little bit of a retest, and a lot of people are going to go short at that point. And when people go short on support, what ends up happening is you just loaded the gun for a pump. You've loaded all of the market with the ability to pump. So if everybody goes short as we're like breaking through support, you better believe that, you know, we have just loaded the liquidation gun. So people are going to get absolutely toasted and wrecked. So that's what we're looking for on the 4-hour. Let's go to the 15-minute and let me show you that Blackbox has been doing its job beautifully. Some people said, hey, why do we keep getting preparation signals? So if you're in the Discord, you already know that when a trade is coming, we send a preparation signal saying, hey, we're getting close to our parameters being met. Just be on high alert for when the entry signal comes in. I guess I can show you guys. Nah, I don't need to show you. Just go into the Discord. You'll be able to see it. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4 preparation signals and no actual entry signal. But look we didn't pump. We didn't get the move. We didn't get that high velocity move at any point during this rounding over here. Oops. So even though it got everybody kind of excited that we had a trade setting up, we never met the parameters, which is exactly what you want to see in a bot. You don't want to enter something. You don't want to enter a scalp if we don't have the momentum. Blackbox, or Blackbox rather, was able to identify that the momentum wasn't there and didn't take a trade. So it's coming. It's going to come. It's just a matter of the correct market conditions being present so that we can capture that move. And so far that hasn't happened. And we've avoided several instances where the trade would not have worked out. All right, let's catch up with the chat. Good morning from Australia, Otto Watambi. Welcome to the stream. Varying viewpoint. Good morning. Good morning. For some reason, I thought you were North American. Varying viewpoint. But good morning to you. All right, let's take a look at some of the other progressions here. Let's actually go over here. Go to my weekly chart and let's just get a refresher on Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance continues to climb. Bitcoin dominance continues to climb. What does this mean? It means that you have to be one convicted mofo to try and hold alts. I have maintained the stance basically since September of 2022 that you should avoid altcoins. You should avoid altcoins at all cost. And there's a huge narrative out there that you can't make money in Bitcoin. We've made a shit ton of money. If you've been trading Bitcoin, you made money. If you've been trading altcoins, you got wrecked, man. You got wrecked. And one of the most important charts that you can be paying attention to is Bitcoin dominance. If Bitcoin is dominating the market, which is what this chart represents, if Bitcoin is dominating the market, Bitcoin's dominating the market. There's no point in exposing yourself to altcoins when Bitcoin is leading the charge. Every time Bitcoin makes a move, the best an altcoin can do is play catch up. There are outliers. There are outliers, and we've talked about those outliers here on the channel also for months. Solana is an outlier. Immutable X is an outlier. Caspa is an outlier. So they are out there. They do exist. But that's not altcoin season. Altcoin season is when basically the entire market outperforms Bitcoin. And we're not seeing that yet. And we will not see that until this changes trend. Right now we have a high, a low, a higher low, a higher high. We'll probably get a higher low. Maybe we actually break through the 60% mark. Who knows? But it's not until we get a lower low and then a lower high that we can change that trend that altcoin season begins. I also want to make it very clear to people that altcoin season is incredibly short. It's incredibly short. It's like 4 months tops. You've been waiting around for years for altcoin season, but altcoin season is not very long at all. This was altcoin season. How long was it? It was 140 days. That's it. That's it. That's a few months, period. End of story. Every 4 years, you get a couple months. So please be patient. Subscribe to the channel. I will be very loud and proud as to when altcoin season has begun. If you aren't already subscribed to this channel, subscribe, because there's a lot of noise out there. There's a lot of people that say the only place you can make money is alts. That is partly true, but it's only applicable to 4 months out of every 4 years. So you got to wait a long time before we hit that transition point. Basically, and because it's so short as well, if you're heavy into altcoins, in my opinion, you're short the cryptocurrency market. If you're heavy into alts, you basically are saying, I think this market's only going to last 4 months. So if you think this market is only going to last 4 more months, then sure, make an altcoin allocation. But if you think that this market is going to last for potentially a year, then you shouldn't be in altcoins, because, you know, you expect this to last a year. And it's only at the very end. It's only at the very end that altcoins really take charge. Should show ETH BTC chart. Yeah, sad. Let's take a look at ETH BTC. It's been a while, actually. I think I stopped looking at that chart publicly because I'm such a fucking troll. But, you know, I hate to be the guy to say, I told you so, but I told you so. This is a Wyckoff distribution, and it's played out exactly as we said it was going to play out, and it's continuing to play out. ETH is really, really struggling. And my target remains the same. I think we're going to get to 3 million sats per ETH. This is a huge move down. Now, keep in mind that that Bitcoin, these charts can head down even though the price is going up. That's where a lot of people get fucked up. Is they're just like, oh, well, the price of Ethereum is going up. Why is this going down? It's because it's the comparison between ETH and BTC. So if Ethereum is going up in price, but Bitcoin is going up in price faster and stronger, this chart goes down. You get red candles on this chart. And for me, I think that's the next point. That is the point at which you get full capitulation on this chart. It's not going to be with Ethereum going down to further levels. I think Bitcoin is going to pump the fuck up to 100K plus, maybe 120K on the first impulse, on the first breakout of this consolidation. We are going to pump. And that's going to cause this chart, the Ethereum BTC comparative chart, to dump. Because Ethereum won't be able to keep up with the power of Bitcoin. When Bitcoin makes a big move, the alts can't keep up. Not until you're in that very short window of altcoin season. So keep an eye on this chart. If you don't already have it, you don't need all of this that's going on. Let me actually just delete all of this. I'm going to bring it back. But this is the only line you need on this chart, okay? This is the only line. This line right here. That's it. That's all you need for this chart. Put one line on that chart. When Ethereum breaks that line and stays above that line with volume, we're in altcoin season. Super simple. More specifically, we're in Ethereum season. But until this one line is broken, we are not. Powell W, good evening, JT. What advice would you give someone who lost a shitload of money on the recent drop? Well, we don't give personalized financial advice, not over a stream, but if you could provide more details, I could at least tell you my thoughts around it. But someone who lost a load of money, now, did you lose it? Like, did you lose it on leverage, meaning that you were liquidated and you no longer have access to any asset or any funds whatsoever? Or are you talking about your paper P&L in the spot market where, you're down bad on the paper, but you're still holding the assets? Because that's a very big, that's a very different thing. As hard as it is right now to be in altcoins, I also believe that altcoins are going to do really, really well, as they always do every cycle, especially, some of the stronger ones that we've pointed out on the channel before. If you were liquidated, you just got to start over. So, and what I would recommend that you do, again, this is not personal financial advice, but you stay away from leverage. If you're adding leverage to an altcoin, I hate to just be the asshole, but you're being fucking greedy. You're being greedy. Don't be greedy. Add leverage to Bitcoin, okay? You can add leverage to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is highly liquid. It's highly traded. It moves somewhat predictably when compared to other altcoins. And you have a lot more volatility bandwidth with Bitcoin, meaning that you can place stops that won't get hit. But when you're doing that to an altcoin, you're just setting yourself up for liquidations. You're setting yourself up for stop loss hits. It's not a good strategy. Altcoins, I play altcoins very, very differently. If I'm making an altcoin allocation, and again, this is not advice, but if I'm making an altcoin allocation, I just buy the altcoin, put it in a wallet. No stop loss. It's not on the exchange. And then I will harvest, I'm planting seeds, and then I harvest when it's altcoin season, and I sell it during altcoin season. I do not apply leverage to alts, period. End of story. It's greedy. And greed is the number one way for you to lose money. The number one way. If you do things to try and fast track your trading account, you lose. If you go slow, if you go methodical, if you go planned, it grows. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. If you are sitting on the other side here, you're watching this stream, and you are leverage trading altcoins, and your account is down bad, I can pretty much guarantee you that if you stop using leverage and start accumulating spot alts and don't use stops, I feel really bad saying that. It may, you know, because I worry about when people watch this video. But if you approach it as more of like a portfolio management style, where you're just accumulating assets to, you know, sell during the good times, you're going to do much better, way better. Does it go up as fast? No, of course not. But you know what? Actually reaping profits is better than trying to take a fast track with leverage, where your assets are actually taken away from you completely. Liquidating accounts, hitting stops, all of that, it's taken away. So that would be a thought that I would entertain. The volume candle on Bitcoin is a big sell candle, isn't it? Yes. So volume is, that's a very good question, by the way. Very good question, because it's a very common thought, you know, oh my God, we fell so much. All of this is selling. A lot of this is selling. A lot of this is selling, but volume is both buying and selling. This is why I don't color code my volume. You know, when you put volume on and it's stock, fresh out of the box, reset settings. Yeah, when it comes fresh out of the box, you got red and green. It's completely irrelevant. The colors are completely irrelevant on volume. You don't need color on volume. Volume represents buying and selling. And what this represents is a reordering, a reorganization of the order book. So yes, there's a lot of selling. Yes, there's a lot of liquidations. Liquidations are buying, by the way. But there's a lot of people buying spot BTC. This candle has a lot of buying in it. So yes, it represents a liquidity event, but liquidity events are how you shake things up, and that's how you get the market moving again. It's a lubricant to get things moving again, is these high liquidity events. So you're right, but you're missing the bigger picture. It's getting hot in here. All right, let's see how the traditional markets are handling things. Actually, no, let's drill the point home with alts. So let's go to total market cap and let's do a comparative chart. Let's get total 2, and total 3. Lined up on the chart here, and let's go 1 year in frame. So here's another representation of how we're not in altcoin season yet. So total 3, let's break things down. Total is the total cryptocurrency market. It's all assets, all market cap. And in the last year, the entire cryptocurrency market is up 69%. Total 2 is the entire cryptocurrency market excluding Bitcoin. Bitcoin represents, you know, over 50% of the entire market cap. It's excluding Bitcoin. That is the orange one. It's up 44%. So obviously Bitcoin is doing a lot of the heavy lifting, because when you include Bitcoin, it's up 69%. Then we have total 3. This is kind of interesting. Usually these are stacked in order. So you'll have total 1, total 2, total 3. It seems that there's more of an appetite for other assets in the top 10 than there is for Ethereum, because total 3 excludes Bitcoin and it excludes Ethereum. This isn't entirely shocking to me because of the performance that we've been seeing with Solana. Solana has been doing incredibly well. I wouldn't be surprised if the only difference between Total 2 and Total 3 is Solana. But it's up 56%. But even with the power of Solana taken into account on the total market caps, the one that holds Bitcoin is much better. And that's a perfect representation of the performance of your portfolio. If Bitcoin is at nearly 60%, and if your portfolio is near 60%, your balances are up at least 70% on the year. So it's an important thing to take into consideration. You see the monthly chart of BTC looks like a bearish div on the month, plus TRT looks bullish AF on weekly. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of that. And going to BTC on the monthly. Okay, so you're talking about this divergence right here. You're talking about this high and this high with this high and this high. This is not a divergence. So let me explain to you why. Let's move this back 14 bars. This is where you would measure a div. From this point in July 2023 to where we are right now, that's how you would measure a div. You don't measure a divergence between these 2 points because it's longer than the average. When you go into the RSI, go to the RSI, go to inputs, we use a 14 candle length. As a general rule of thumb, you should not measure a divergence between 2 points that exceed 14 candles. So the distance from this top to this top is nearly double what we consider a maximum. It's 28 candles between those two tops. So this is not a divergence. Actually, that divergence is measured even further back. It's measured from this top, which is 35 bars away. So it's over twice. We don't care about this. We don't care about this. And the reason being is because it's so easy to just come up, meet parity, and break it. You know, as soon as we rally, it's broken. Monthly charts, I don't use indicators on monthly charts. I'll look at price on a monthly chart, but I'm not looking at indicators on a monthly chart. The higher up in the time frame you go, the more simple your analysis should be. If you've got 5 different indicators, you know, a bunch of different oscillators, that's fine when you're on the 15-minute. But when you get to the weekly or you get to the monthly, by the time you're at the monthly, you should just be looking at price. Maybe a moving average, one moving average. That's it. Don't overcomplicate the high time frames because you'll always find something. You'll always find something. But yeah, no, that div is not valid. It was a Bitcoin trade. Promised myself to never leave a trade open without a stop loss. So if you're in spot Bitcoin, I would not fucking worry at all. Like at all. Now you're talking to a Bitcoin maxi here. Like my whole life is Bitcoin. My whole net worth is Bitcoin. 100%. 100% of my net worth is in Bitcoin. So you might be talking to the wrong person. I might be in a fucking cult. But I would not worry. If you're holding spot Bitcoin, the worst thing that can possibly happen to you is you need to wait longer to achieve the targets you intended. That's it. So if you're down bad, but you're holding the strongest asset in the world, very biased opinion, I wouldn't worry at all. Take a look at TLT. Oh, it was on 5x. So you lost it. This is why you got to be very careful with leverage. We use leverage. Our bots use leverage. But our swing trading bot uses a maximum, it hasn't been released yet, so don't ask me. Our swing trading bot uses a maximum of 2x, maximum 2x, and our scalping bot uses 10x. The scalping bot is fucking dialed in. Like it's got super, super tight risk preserving parameters in place. You're not going to lose a lot of money with Bangbox's risk parameters. When you introduce leverage, you need to have a fucking plan. You need to be dialed in. You need to have a lot of trading experience. And if you're going to do swing trades on leverage, you really need to dial it back. I recommend, if you've been trading for less than 5 years, I recommend you ditch leverage entirely, with the exception of our bot, of course, because we know what we're doing and we know how to program the strategies. But leverage, man, you got to be ready to kill it. You got to be ready to, if it's going against you on leverage, you got to get rid of it. So I apologize, or I don't apologize to you, but I'm sorry that happened to you. Leverage is tricky, man. It's the forbidden fruit of the crypto world. It will tempt you every single time. And people who know how to use it can use it well, which is why it's so tempting, because it's so readily available. But if you've been trading for less than 5 years, just try not using it, because making smaller wins that you actually capitalize on is exponentially better than losing on a 5x, right? All right, so what are we looking at here? The treasury bonds are rallying. Got to be honest with you guys. Bonds are not my forte. Bonds are not my forte, but correlation is. So why don't we slap a Bitcoin chart on here? Oh, okay. Let's go logarithmic. That might smooth things out a little bit. All right, this is hard because the percentages are so different. So let's see what happened the last time we were in an uptrend. So the last time we were in an uptrend was here, December 2018, which on Bitcoin was the bottom of the bull market, or sorry, the bottom of the bear market. So this was a glorious move here. From this point to this point was a 2000% move. So if we're anywhere close to this, and we enter this type of environment in the bonds, we're looking at bull market. We're looking at phase 2 of the bull market. It's time to fucking go. So yeah, you'll want to monitor that one. I won't be monitoring that one. It's not my forte, but you know, as long as this chart is trending in an upwards direction, and it looks like we've got a nice little, you know, pop here on the weekly. If this starts to take out some of these highs, then you know, we're trending in the right direction for us to have a bull market. We got to take out the 100 high, and we need to take out the 109 high, and then we need to take out the 120 high. If we start taking out these highs, basically by the time we're at 120, it's a bull market. You're in a full bull market. When we get the bot working on other exchanges like 2bit, I think you missed the memo. 2bit is not holding up on their end of the deal. We've done everything we can with 2bit. We can't build a bot. They don't have trading view charts. They don't have the appropriate API connections. Where our hands are tied. We can't make a bot with 2-bit. They made promises to, we held up on our end with every one of our promises. They made promises to us as far as time deadlines to be ready, and they haven't met those deadlines yet. So until 2-bit has trading view charts and appropriate API connections, we can't build a bot. I highly recommend that you switch over to Blowfin. Blowfin's good to go. We're entering the testing phase with Blowfin. Blowfin's gonna go, and if you switch right now, there's a promotion on Blowfin for 15% of your deposits. So whatever you have on 2-bit, switch it over to Blowfin, and you're gonna get 15% more. You're gonna get 15% more tether. Just make sure that you move the tether to the futures account of your Blowfin. All the links are down below. They're in the Discord. Switch over to Blowfin if you want bot action. Just joined the stream. Not sure if you covered Track yet. Track USD and Track BTC would be awesome. Yeah, we can take a look at Track. I don't have anything nice to say about ordinals in general right now. That is a market condition more than a technical chart. I actually think doing charts is relatively useless. Like, you can't predict the next move with a chart when something is that illiquid and in low demand. But ordinals will have their day again. They'll have their day in the sun for sure. Let's take a look at Track USDT. I feel like we're kind of at a bottom. They've started rolling out the validators. So they're selling licenses for the validator program. The validators are not live yet, but they have started selling licenses for the validators. I think once the validators go actually live, and once we have the TAP token live, and once people start to receive TAP tokens and farm TAP tokens as a result of the validator program, you're going to get a lot of hype. Not only because of the profits that can be made with the validators, but because what the validators represent is DeFi on Bitcoin. And when DeFi on Bitcoin comes to fruition, huge bull market, massive fucking bull market. This is the chain link of this cycle. But right now it's not doing jack shit. So you got to just be patient. I'd be watching, we got, I guess, a little bit of a trading range now. And it's just bouncing around at the lower end of the range. We need to take out some of the highs. Let's actually do it that way. We got to take out some of the highs. So we got to take out this high. That's at $2.60. We need to take out this high at, we'll call it $3. And then by the time we take out the high at $4.60, we're off to the races and it's going full bull. But until any of that happens, we're just chilling. There's nothing noteworthy, nothing exciting about this price action at all. It's trapped below the 128 on the 3-day, which is not that applicable, but it's trapped below it on the daily as well. There's just nothing really exciting about this chart. And that matches what's going on in the ordinal space as a whole. There's nothing really exciting going on in the ordinal space. It's all just kind of steady waiting. Let's see if the story's any different on BTC, but I doubt it. It's probably worse. Origin trail. Okay, we don't want that track. Origin trail is not the right track, by the way. Do your own research. Origin trail is nothing. It's not going to do anything. Track is the chain link of this cycle. Yeah, it's the same. I do like the demand tail here, but we got to start taking out some highs. I want to see 35,000 sats get taken out. I want to see 43,000 sats get taken out. And then full bull when 65,000 sats is taken out. Actually, that's 6,000 sats. Sorry, 3,500 sats, 4,300 sats, and 6,500 sats. When those are taken out, it's bull market time. But, you know, the worst is over. The worst is over. The downwards retracements were very, very vicious. A lot of the whales who were bailing on positions took profits. They're out. The volatility is subsiding. The price action is tightening. All we need is a sign of strength. We just need a little pop. Once you get that sign of strength, it won't be long after that before things start popping off in the ordinal space. Ordinals are coming back, I guarantee you. And I think the biggest narrative to push that is DeFi on Bitcoin. Once we have decentralized marketplaces, once we have decentralized finances, once we have lending and all of the stuff that we saw on Ethereum come to fruition last year, once all that stuff hits the Bitcoin network, A, it's game over for Ethereum. But B, you're going to have a huge, huge bull market as a result of that. Trujillo Dive Center. Hey, what's up? Where do you dive? Where do you dive? Want to get my patty one of these days, but I'm a little afraid. I'm afraid of the ocean. I'm afraid of freaking out. Come help me. Greg Ulster, can't believe INJ is at 15 bucks. Let's take a look. INJ, I think that was one that was performing quite well. So it's probably at its backup phase. Oh man, no, it's worse. It's no, yeah, no, it's fine. That's fine. This is fine. This is fine. INJ. Yeah, we're looking okay. I don't know what this is. We didn't take that trade. Let's put a parallel channel around this. That's not a channel. This is a channel. Yeah, we could still come down a little bit more, maybe 10 bucks. And that's your backup. So this is very, very strong support. Very strong support. I think it can come down a little bit further. Alts are going to continue to bleed. Alts will bleed, Bitcoin won't. And that will cause alts to bleed more. And Bitcoin to pump more as people are like, fuck, I give up. I'm going into Bitcoin. And then eventually there will be that rotation where Bitcoin kind of tops out at dominance, begins to trend down, and the alts take over. Let's take a quick look at Sol. Yeah, similar story over here on Sol. This is a trade we did take, 30% up. We need a longer chart. Yeah, I don't mind this. I don't mind this. This isn't the best support, to be perfectly honest with you. This isn't the best support. And we're kind of just barely holding on. But what I like is all the demand. Look at this demand. All of these tails below this price. Big, big demand tails. That's bullish. There is demand for Solana. A lot of people use Solana. There's a lot of people out there who are bullish on Solana. Everything Ethereum said it would do, it hasn't done, and Solana has done instead. The degens live on Solana. The meme coins are on Solana. Binance Smart Chain seems to be kind of fading away, and now we got, you know, Solana kind of picking it up. So Solana is kind of in between Binance Scam Chain and Ethereum, and a lot of demand is in that sweet spot. So it's not surprising at all that Solana's doing so well this cycle. Where did my where did our trade go? Oh, there it is. It's on a different chart. So yeah, Solana looks good. Let's take a look at TON. This one has demand too, but this is I would be very cautious with a structure like this. You know, we rallied, then got a pretty severe rejection. There is a lot of demand in this zone. You can see because of the tails. So there is demand here. I just don't know. I don't know if it'll hold. If it breaks below that level, it's probably going to much nastier prices. So it depends on the market. You know, it depends what Bitcoin does. If Bitcoin starts to rally, that's going to strengthen up the market as a whole. If it doesn't, and it does take a lower level, you're going to see a lot of alts reach this kind of maximum capitulation point. So another 50% haircut from here. Yeah, 46%. Premier America wanting to sell ad space on here. No, thank you. Take your link and go away. Muted. All right, how long have we been streaming? Over an hour. I think we'll call it good. Let's oh yeah, Bitcoin's looking great. Looking great on the day. Looking good on the day, but we got to kick this stuff. You know, we've been getting a lot of pump into a rounded over top, pump into a rounded over top, pump into a rounded over top. So we need to kick that. If we can, we'll probably rally up to the mean. And that'll be dope. Get us back up to 61,000, 63,000 before maybe a correction back down. Who knows? But we'll capture that liquidity on Bangbox if that does end up being the case. So get set up on Bangbox, everybody. If you're in the US, you might want to entertain the idea of getting a Palau ID. It is a digital residency. It's 100% legal. Lets you trade anywhere you want in the world. Americans are increasingly excluded from this financial revolution. So if you want to kind of fight back against that, one easy thing you can do is register with the country of Palau, with the government of Palau, that will give you a legit residency card saying that you are a resident of Palau. You can use that to KYC on BitGet. You can use that to KYC on Blowfin. You can use that to KYC on any exchange that you wish. So if you want more information, scan the QR code right here with the Discord link. Come into the Discord, ask questions, and we'll get you set up. And in the group today. That is all the time I have for today. If you guys enjoyed this content, please leave it a like. Don't forget to subscribe. And until next time, please trade safe. It is jungle out there. Peace.